Hunderman, the story of an abandoned village. When I first reached this village, I was very curious to know what happened to the people who lived here. Why did they abandon this beautiful land? I searched for answers, and with the help of my friend Ali, I could find more details about the LOC Hunderman project done by Roots Ladakh and an article written by Shubhanki Swarup. The stories I found was heartbreaking. This video might be long, but I felt every Indian out there should know what happened to a beautiful village like Hunderman. When I researched further, I found out it wasn't the story of one village, but many that lied in LOC. What is the first thing that comes in your mind when you hear the name Kargil? Bomb, shells, missiles, bullet, war, or the war we won against Pakistan in 1999. A proud moment for all Indians. History is filled with moments where the key voices of a conflict is unheard. People assume documented history is to be the whole truth, but they are only a part of it. Alternate histories are not alternatives to the dominant ones. They are the untold ones, says Urvashi Batalia, author of The Other Side of Silence, Voices from the Partition of India, a book you must read. The people of Hunderman, a typical village in India's Kargil district, live under whimsical reign of LOC. The lives of many villages have been destroyed by its fury. Yet, like a feudal landlord, the LOC is also the provider, the most coveted source of livelihood. In the past 70 years, Hunderman has witnessed 4 wars, innumerable skirmishes, and incredible moments of military history. According to the oral narratives, Hunderman has been a part of 2 nations. From 1949 to 71, villagers say it was part of Pakistan, and again in between during 1965 war. For a period of 4 months, it was virtually cut off, owing to a standoff between India and Pakistan armies. A group of 8 villagers ventured into the mountains once in search of water. Cannons and machine guns sent them scurrying back. In 1971, while war historians and experts were focused on the liberation of Bangladesh, the Indian Army captured 804 square kilometers of the territory from Gilgit-Baltistan. The residents of villages in this newly acquired patch of land became Indian overnight, creating a conundrum of its inhabitants. A couple who found themselves on the opposite side of LOC divorced each other via letters. In just few hours, loved ones turned into living dead. Ever since partition, the lives and fate of people living by LOC have been in flux. According to oral historians, collated by Roots Collective, Hunderman is a 500-year-old settlement. Its inhabitants, however, believe it is older than the Mughal and the British empires. The Silk Route ran through Kargil town, only 14 kilometers from the village, bringing prosperity to the region and instilling in the locals a love for curious objects and customs. At the India-Pakistan War of 1999, obliterated much of this history and culture, removing it from the perception of region. This, in turn, has damaged the people's sense of their own identity. History and culture are the unacknowledged casualties of war. There were so many heart-melting stories. Few of them are the man who never returned. Ghulam Hussain was not in Hunderman when it was taken over by Indian forces, and he therefore remained in Pakistan overnight. All the roads leading to his village were closed to him. Husseini lived a life of refugee in Skardu, the capital city of Gilgit-Baltistan, claimed by Pakistan as its province, and for almost 35 years, and he died in 2005. And this was the last letter he sent to his family. This worshipper of Allah is living a life of solitude in Skardu city. I haven't received any letter or word from your end. What is the reason? Did one make a mistake by asking you for money? If I don't ask you, then whom can I ask? Do I have any brothers in Skardu? I am unable to work as a laborer anymore. I was thrown out of Medina colony and now pay the rent of 300 per month. If possible, please forgive me. There's no other reason to worry. Everything else is fine. I cannot call you as I don't have a phone number. I'm living my life alone here. We will meet today or tomorrow. Your brother. This letter was delivered to his family by Muhammad Raza, a 57-year-old school teacher from the neighboring Shilikche village, locally known as Master Raza. He had made the expensive and time-consuming journey to Skardu to meet his father, who was left behind in 1971. He carried a pressure cooker as a gift. It took him almost 1 week to travel from Kargil to Delhi, and from Delhi to Wagah, and Wagah to Rawalpindi via Lahore, and then finally to Skardu. Had a Kargil-Skardu road been open, the journey would have taken less than 5 hours. Raza was on his way back to India when Ghulam Hussain requested him to carry the letter. Hussein's condition wasn't good. Raza said he lived in a small room, relying on the support of charities. Both Raza and his wife were separated from their fathers in 1971 war. Raza had only just returned to Shilikche when he received a call from his father inquiring about his journey and whether he had eaten, and hours later his father was dead. Raza's wife Zara's story was different. She was only a few months older when the Indian army arrived. That night, Zara's father took her in his arms and fled to Pakistani territory. But his wife couldn't make it. She got left behind. So when the Indian and Pakistani armies met at the border to hand over the dead, the villagers on both sides demanded the infant to be reunited with her mother. Zara was the only one allowed to cross the LOC after it's shifted. Hussein was 13 years old, in class 8, when the Kargil War began in 1999. He was in his class when his school got bombed. A student died, 2 teachers and 2 students were injured. By the time he left Kargil for higher education, he was ashamed of where he came from. The entire village of Hunderman stayed put during the Kargil War of 1999, the most destructive one this region has seen. The villagers used the caves as natural bungalows. The men and boys as young as 13 worked as porters for Indian Army. Without food, water and reinforcement, would the Indian Army have won the battle? Asked Ahmad Hussain, Hunderman's Nambadar, headman, and also a porter. Isn't it a valid question? Are they recognized for their help? None of the villagers could have predicted what was to come. Major Man Singh of the Gorkha regiment was the first soldier of Indian Army to arrive. The villagers recalled his kindness, pacified their fears. He says, "We are not devils, we are also human." He distributed free rations. Many villagers tasted rice for the first time. His name was added to the village as suffix. Hundermo broke, as it was called, became Hunderman, man for Mansingh, and it became part of Kargil district in 1971. I have only listed a few stories from the list of stories the author have narrated. We cannot even imagine the lives, both sides of the LOC, people who separated from their loved ones just in one day. Let's hope they all get together soon. There is a WhatsApp group started by a Skardu-based journalist, Hum Sab Kab Milenge, and there are over 110 members in it who are both in India and Pakistan, wishes to meet each other someday soon. Let's pray for them. Let's hope things will work out for them.
When the author of the book Shubhangi left a voice message in that group, she got a reply from another person, Ali Hassan. And he says, I'm living a life of a muhajir. I'm one of those left behind from Tayakshi, now in India. To us, this seems like a different country. We face so much loneliness here. Many fathers, husbands and brothers from Tayakshi were left behind in Pakistan as they had left their homes for work. The mothers, wives, daughters and sisters were all alone. We still bear the repercussions of this violence. A man who was stuck here somehow managed to marry and have children again, but the loneliness persists. Eid for us is not a celebration, it's a mourning. We have no brothers, no sisters, no family. Who should we visit? Here we make relatives, not by blood, but by word. If your story can help take our voices to the people, if the power of your pen can bring a separated family together, then there is no greater happiness for them. Ansari, who changed his ancestral property to a museum of memories, believes that one day all those left behind in Pakistan will return. The road connecting Kargil to Skardu, symbolic of free movement, will reopen. People will be allowed to cross over, as they are at Wagah border. Faiza, his 2-year-old daughter, will grow up in a very different world. She will attend her cousin's wedding on the other side. She will go to school, uninterrupted by war. She will not live in a cave, nature's bomb shelter.